Yo, welcome back to the channel. If you're listening to this, that means you're listening to All Things Life, where we just talk about things that are involved with life, right? Pretty self-explanatory, but if you're listening to this, man, woman, you are an OG of the channel, which stands for original, and I appreciate the hell out of you. The reason I'm doing this kind of thing is because I actually explained that in my first hour-long video, so if you want to check out how the YouTube channel started or what exactly we're going to be covering on this YouTube channel, definitely go check out that first hour-long video. With that being said, let's just dive in. This is going to be part 2 of a 3-part video series. Right? In my own opinion, there's 3 things that go into life. There's 3 things that make up a human being as well, and 3 things that, make every human being different. Those 3 things is going to be your physical, your mental, and your spiritual. Now, the first video explained your physical, what that means, how it's important, how it affects us, all that good stuff. Right? This video is going to be about the mental, and then the next one's going to be about your spiritual. And all 3 components make up who you are, and they also make you different than every other human being. Right? Which is why I wanted to make a separate video about each topic, because that's what the whole channel is going to be about, your mental, your physical, and your spiritual health. Now, before I dive into this, right, I just want to clearly say that in my own opinion, I believe that we derive happiness from constant improvement in our lives. It doesn't matter what the improvement is, as long as you're getting better at something, some way, somehow, right, there is some sort of happiness in that. As a human being, we're always going to want more. Right, it's a pretty obvious saying, but I don't think people have awareness around it. So let's think about it this way. Someone who makes $30,000 a year, they're going to want to make $40,000 a year. And that's equivalent to someone that makes $10 million a year and they want to make $20 million a year. Right? As human beings, we always want more. There's a sense of, I don't have enough. And you just want to keep upgrading, right? Let's say you even attain what you want. Let's say this person who makes $30,000 a year and this person who makes $10 million a year, they accomplish their income goals. Okay. After a few days, months, weeks, whatever, years, they're going to want to reach the very next level. That's just how we are as human beings. We always want more and we want to, improve. And that's where we find our happiness, right? But with the failure, the constant struggle, not being able to accomplish what you want to accomplish in your given time frame, those things cause the unhappiness, right? Those things cause the sadness, the struggle, whatever it is, right? And at the end of the day, everyone is going through that, because I will promise you this one thing. I don't care who you are. You can be the most rich person. You can be Jeff Bezos listening to this. 99% won't, but let's say he does. I know for a fact he's always looking for more. Right, and that plays into his happiness. Doesn't matter if it's through his mental health, physical health, or spiritual health. He's always looking for more. Okay, let's dive into the mental health piece. Why is this so important, and why am I even talking about this? Well, first and foremost, right, the biggest muscle you have in your body is your brain. Okay, so that should already kind of pre-frame exactly why I'm talking about this. But let me just give you guys and gals a very disturbing stat, okay? Every single year, 800,000 people die from suicide. Okay, that means one person dies from suicide every 40 seconds. Let me repeat, every 40 seconds. Okay, someone kills themselves every 40 seconds. Okay, and suicide is going to be the second leading cause of death for people that's from 15 to 29 years old. Right, that's our young age. It's a very young age. We're talking about 1 in 4. Okay. And another crazy stat here. It says that most mental disorders start before the age of 14. And who is our biggest influence before the age of 14? Our parents. That's going to be most people in our lives, unless you're adopted or you got emancipated, right? Or you just don't have parents somehow, right? I would say 99% of us, the biggest influence we have in our life in the first 18 years is going to be our parents. Okay, now here's the problem with today's world, and this is how it affects us mentally. In today's world, there's such things as 7th and 8th place trophies. So if you don't get 1st or 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th, you still get a trophy for being 7th. You still get a trophy for being last. That is one of the things that I heavily disagree with, okay, because we are reinforcing children that it's okay to be last and you're rewarded for being last. What does that do? Okay, how does that affect our mental health? How does one simple action of giving a kid an award for being last place, how does that affect their mental health, right? It sounds crazy when you say it out loud. Let me explain. This kid, let's say you give him an award once for getting last place. Now he's going to think the same thing. That's all kids know. What they don't know, they don't know. That applies to adults as well, right? But for kids, it's especially for kids. If what you don't know, you don't know. They don't have much awareness, right? So in their mind, it's going to continuously condition them to think that, oh, it's okay for me to not work hard and get last place. It's okay for me to not care because I still get a trophy. And that's going to translate to other places in life, right? They're going to go to school and say, you know what? I don't need to have good grades. And let me make something really, really clear. I'm not a big believer in college or formal education like that. I'm more so about experiences. But at the end of the day, right, they're going to go to school, whatever it's 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and they're going to believe that whatever they're, obviously when you're a kid in that stage, competition is big for you, right? That's just something that's just how kids work. They compete with one another and they find joy in that. Right. So I remember when I was a kid, I used to compete with other kids like, oh, what did you get on this test? And I would feel good about myself if I did better. Right. But the moment you give this child a trophy for being last place, they're not going to think that way. They're going to be conditioned into thinking that it's okay to be last. And anything that they do in their lives where it's one person against another, they're always going to believe that it's totally fine unless something changes in their life. It's totally fine for them to lose every single time because they know that they're going to be awarded. How does that affect our mental health? Because this kid is going to move on with this life, thinking that it's okay to get last place because he's going to get a trophy. He's going to do that for years to come unless something changes, right? And then he's going to find a passion, or she's going to find a passion. It can be playing an instrument. It can be, sports. It could be anything. It can be career advancement. It could be anything, getting a raise at a job. But because this one action of giving this child a trophy for being in last place, when there's a challenge for them to overcome, or if there's a challenge that they need to tackle head on, they're not going to be able to do it. Because in their mind, it's okay if they fail. And that's a simple action, right? The simple action of giving someone a last place trophy causes this. And that's one of my biggest issues with today's society, okay? Let me tell you guys something, and gals something. Most mental issues develop before the age of 14. Okay? That points directly at parenting. And if you're one of those parents that's listening to this and you prize your child for getting last place, I really recommend you stop doing that. If they're not good at something, you need to be honest and real with them and tell them, hey, you're not good at this. What is the outcome that you desire? Oh, hey, Dad, I want to be the best piano player. I practice every day, but the music I play is absolutely horseshit. I don't care if they're 7 years old, 8 years old. You got to be real with them. Honesty is something that kids got to learn as soon as possible, right? So that they don't start normalizing and saying, oh, it's okay to lie because they lie to you, right? So you need to be honest and transparent with your children. So let's say your child plays the piano and whatever they play, they mess up all the notes and it just doesn't sound good. You need to tell them that. Like, hey, son, or hey, daughter. I listen to you play this piano every single day, and I don't think you make good music, or I don't think you play the chords right. Can I help? Or what can we do to make you better? Oh, Mom or Dad, I want to get lessons. Cool, so if we were to put you in lessons, are you going to fully dedicate yourself? Yes, I will. You put that kid in lessons, you make him commit to it. And guess what? They're going to struggle, I promise you. Depending on the age of the child, if they're like 15, 16, of course, they've already dealt with hardship in their life and pushback. I'm not talking about going to jail or anything crazy like that. I'm more so talking about, being in a disagreement with someone. So they've already had that. But if they're 7 years old, right, and they're giving you pushback, you got to literally nip that in the butt right then and there. If they say, no, I don't want to commit to this, I'm only doing this once or twice a week. Okay, that's totally fine. In that case, then you can't tell me that you want to be the best piano player. If you're telling me that you want to be the best piano player, you got to do what the best piano players are doing now. And that's going to be committing yourself 100% to being the best piano player that you can be, right? Don't compare yourself to anyone else, but you should strive to be the best piano player that you can be from a young age, right? It doesn't matter if they're 6 or 7 years old. You got to have these serious conversations with them. At the end of the day, you're setting your kids up for success. If you don't have these conversations, who will? You think the teachers at, some public school will? Absolutely not. right? These kids got to be able to understand. I mean, in my opinion, I think kids should be able to understand, number one, having awareness around what they want. I don't care how old they are. If this person has a dream and a goal of becoming the best piano player, or they have a dream or a goal of becoming a firefighter when they grow up, then they need to start working on being a good human being, willing to help others when it doesn't, affect them in any way. They're not going to pay you. They're not going to say thank you. None of that. If you want to be a firefighter, you got to be able to do these things from the bottom of your heart, and it can't be because other people are thanking you to do it. Right? I should start developing, or you should start developing those kind of, habits and characteristics into your child if they want to be a firefighter. Right? If they're 14, 15 years old and say, I want to play, professional football, at 14, 15 years old, they are kind of late to the game, right? Because you see every kid on social media doing drills when they're 4 or 5. But let's say they're 14 and 15. Okay, cool. How do we get you to the NFL? What do we need to do? Well, number one, we need to work on your weight and your body. You need to get physically better. Okay, in order for you to get physically better, it's going to be extremely hard. You're going to have to wake up early, go to bed late. You're going to feel sore. Your muscles are going to hurt. It's going to be painful for you to even take a seat in your chair or into your car. All these things. Right? And in order for you to overcome those things, your mental state has to be in a strong enough place. Or else it's never going to happen. And you're not going to accomplish these things. Once again, that ties back into giving your child a 7th or 8th place trophy. Right? If you give them a 7th and 8th place trophy and the same child wants to go to the NFL at age 14 or 15, or they come up with that dream at age 14 or 15 and want to make it by 21, now they have 7 years to make this dream possible, but they have all these roadblocks and challenges. But every time they hit a roadblock or a challenge, they're not going to be able to overcome it because you gave them a trophy when they were in 7th or 8th place 10 years ago. Or 8 years ago. When they were 6, you gave them a trophy for being last. And now they've conditioned themselves to think that it's okay to not overcome challenges. It's okay to be last place and feel okay with that. That's okay. You're literally setting your child up for failure, right? But if you were to sit your child down and say, hey, I know you got 7th or 8th place. What place did you want to get? Oh, I wanted to be 1st or 2nd place. Cool. How do we get you to 1st or 2nd place next time? Okay, I need to work on XYZ so that I can do this better next time, and it'll put me in a better position to get 1st or 2nd place. Cool. Right? Those are the kind of conversation. Instead of saying, oh, good job, you did everything possible. Here's a trophy for getting 7th or 8th place. Then the next challenge or roadblock they hit, they're going to be like, oh, where's mommy and daddy? Help me with this as well. Every single time, I promise. So nip this in the butt right now. Okay, I know I kind of went off on a tangent, so let's bring it back to the mental health piece. Okay, so mental health. This is going to be so important for everybody. I don't care what stage of life you're in. There are so many disturbing stats that I can't even read them all. But I will say this. If you are not taking care of yourself mentally, it will affect you in all areas of life. I don't care who you are. Okay? If you do not take care of yourself mentally, regardless if that's a relationship, your finances, whatever's going on in your life, you feel something or you feel some way about someone and you don't get it out, everything's just going to pile on top of that and you're going to blow up or you're going to have a breakdown. You need to be taking care of yourself mentally. Okay, the last point I want to hit here is your mental health will only get better if you focus on yourself. If you're focusing on other people, your mental health will not get better. You need to take care of yourself first. That's the best advice I've honestly probably gotten. Take care of yourself first. When you're on an airplane and something goes wrong and those masks from above come down, who do they recommend puts on the mask first? A 4-year-old child or a 35-year-old man? That's the child's dad, obviously. They always recommend the parent put on the mask first and then help your child. Okay? Take the same context of that analogy and apply it to your life. You need to be taking care of yourself first. You need to give yourself the mask first before you give the mask to anyone else. Because if you give the mask to anyone else, that means you're going to die and you're not going to be able to take care of anyone else moving forward. So if you actually take care of yourself first, you're helping others. Because once you take care of yourself and you're good, now you can use that same experience and knowledge to help others. Right? You need to be taking care of yourself mentally. That's going to affect your physical health and your spiritual health. I hope I got the message through to y'all today. If If you guys have any questions or concerns about anything that I said, shoot me a DM on any kind of social media platform. I always respond to everyone within 24 hours. I don't care if it's a weekend as well. If you're listening to this, you're an OG of the channel, which means you're an original. I absolutely love you and appreciate you. Hopefully this provided some value and you got something away from it. And hopefully that one thing that you took away from it is take care of yourself mentally. Okay, with that being said, your host is signing off. All things life. I appreciate you guys listening in with me. If any of you guys have any questions like anything like that, shoot me a DM on social media platforms and I will get back to you. Other than that, everyone enjoy their day, night, wherever you're watching. I love you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.